Hey guys, it's Blind here today, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I love to play Minecraft. I love to play Minecraft with new people. My major issue with playing Minecraft with new people is unfortunately sometimes they don't know what they're doing, which is totally okay, because let's face it, everybody's new at some point. And so what I'm going to do is today I'm going to explain some of the basic rules and more important things of my favorite server to play on, Vox Populus. Now, it's a very enjoyable server. The administrators and all that are very nice, very fair people. But you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta know how to follow the rules if you're gonna have a good time. Because if you just break the rules, either intentionally or unintentionally, these administrators are gonna do their jobs. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, let me just point out something really quick for anybody who's never played Minecraft before and decided to make this game their first Minecraft server. Well, first off, welcome. You'll notice that the server's directional keys, which is W, A, S, and D, are the same as probably your single player world. If you haven't ever played Minecraft before, seriously, do yourself a favor, go on a single player world, look up the controls, learn it yourself, because it's going to be a lot easier than dealing with people on multiplayer servers who are going to try to troll you and tell you the wrong commands. Not everybody is going to be blunt and honest with you, but not everybody's out to get you all at the same time. After you get through the opening sequence of Vox Populi, you start off down there. You can either climb up and over to the creative world, you can climb down into the nether, which I really don't recommend your first time here, or you can head to the main world, which is where I'm currently heading. Next video, before I get too far ahead of myself, we'll go over things like race selection, jobs, and how to place private signs. Today, we're going to do things way different. Instead of trying to do all those things, we are just going to explain the rules. Vox Populi has a 9-page page of rules. Now, it doesn't seem as difficult to understand as it looks, okay? You ready, guys? It's very basic. First off, first thing you find out when you open this book is basically a statement saying that, guess what? If it's not a rule, it's not a rule. But the administrators have the right to say, no, you can't do that, even if it's not a rule. They have the ability to overrule rules and basically to say what is right and what isn't right. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds dangerous, giving people so much power. Well, truth is, these people don't exploit it because they're not jerks. Now, another rule. No, absolutely no griefing. What is griefing, you wonder? Well, griefing literally is when a player in a multiplayer game, like Vox Populi here, deliberately uses aspects of that game in unintended ways. So, well, I don't think you could call them unintended, but use them in ways that you shouldn't. So they go to somebody's house in the wild and they drop lava on it, or they blast it with TNT, or stuff like that. That is griefing. That is wrong. That is against the rules. If it's somebody's house and you blow it up, do not be surprised if you get in trouble for it. Griefing also is pretty much just, harassing a player and just making their day miserable. See this? This is a town. Towns are certain areas outside the wild which cannot be griefed as easily. They're also great because mobs can't spawn inside them. Unless extreme circumstances, and we're not getting into that. Here's the reason why towns are so great in my opinion. Mobs can't spawn inside them. Based on your permission, you don't have to worry about too much in the way of griefing. And you can keep stuff private. Now, this right here is clearly not a normal NPC village. This is a town. Towns have rules that are unique to each town. And I'm not going to go over those rules because I don't know every town's rule. Let me instead go over something even more important than those town rules. What to not do in the wild. Say you're in the wild and you find an abandoned, like, kind of looking like a village place here. This looks like this used to be somebody's village, and clearly it's abandoned, or at least we think it's abandoned. What you can do, if you can open doors, it's cool. You can go inside them. You can check out the place. That's totally fine. What you can't do, if you see a door with a private sign on it, you cannot dig a hole in the wall next to the door to avoid the private sign and get in and break in. That is griefing. That's not allowed. What else could you do? Well, say you see something really tempting and you decide, I'll just break the glass instead. No, don't, because it's griefing. And in rare occurrences, you'll have locked doors, which are doors that players have paid money to keep from opening, but don't have signs on them. You'll click on it and it'll automatically close itself. You'll be like, what the heck? I know what you're tempted to do, which is to take that axe of yours out and just start hacking away at it. Don't. Why? Because that'll just get you in a ton of trouble. See this right here? This is an example of some griefing. Luckily for us, this is an NPC town. Nobody actually lived here, so it's not too big of a deal. But still, if this was a player's house, what they would do is they'd be mad as hell. They'd report it to the staff. The staff has this ability to look back in time, basically, and they would get you in a lot of trouble. So don't grief players' stuff. That's completely different than finding an abandoned house in the wild that used to be a player's house. You can tell because, like, say, they built it up a certain way. Easiest way to determine if it's occupied or not is A, if the door is open, B, if there is a door, and C, if the chests or anything looks like they have been used in the last 2 months. Because after a 2 or 3 months delay, the private signs and stuff can be removed and you can get access. But let's not worry about that. More on griefing. Say there was some crops here. If there were plants here and this was a person's town or surrounded by a wall and a private sign, you can't just go in here and break all the crops and eat all the potatoes. Because once again, that's considered griefing, and you don't want to get in trouble because farm griefing is far more common than I like to think on it, I imagine. And it's just a royal pain in the neck for server administrators because, let's face it, out of all the major issues they have to deal with, picking up somebody's farm after you were an idiot and decided to take crops from it, not on their highlight of things they want to do today. So please, just don't. I know what you're thinking, but if I just take the wheat and I replace the seeds, who's going to notice the difference? Maybe nobody, but maybe somebody. Maybe there's somebody right there watching you. Just don't grief. If you get that hungry, grab a fishing pole. There's always water everywhere. You can always fish yourself something up. Now, or heck, go on the global market and buy food. Cows, pigs, sheep, and horses. Say there's a pen of animals and there's a pen of sheep and you want to make a bed for the night. And you're like, well, if I just, break this stinking fence right here and go in and just, off a few sheep for the wool and then put the fence back, nobody's going to notice, right? Wrong. Players probably will notice when they come up the next day. Instead of having 5 sheep, they have 2. They're not going to be happy campers. So please don't grief somebody's sheep, because that is again considered griefing, and that is a bannable offense. There's a limit to the number of blocks you can take without permission or destroy without permission before you get banned. Please don't find it out for yourselves, because that's just bad news bears. Now, unfortunately, he left his gate open and is just asking for trouble. Now, what if you come to see that door? This is what I'm talking about with a private sign on a door, and people would usually break in the wood right next to it to avoid it. Don't do that. It's just not It's just not cool. Now, more unique animals such as Blind here can also be griefed. Unlike a normal horse, which isn't named and player owned, which Blind is, he's my horse and he's player owned because I own him. Regular horses can be stolen. That's considered griefing because that's a person's property. You wouldn't appreciate it if they do that. But a horse like Blind, only I can get on top and ride. But what most likely happens is somebody will be like, hey, check this out. I'm going to push this horse in this really deep hole. Come here, horse. Let's go. And they will push the horse into the hole, right? Or they'll just pummel it to death. I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's really mean. Well, guess what? It is. And I'm pretty sure that's against the rules. So let's not do that. Plus, Blind's a nice horse. Why would I kill him? We're going to head back to that town now. Wow, nice house. Nice tree house thing. We're going to head back to that town to avoid getting mobbed by mobs. And that brings us up to another good point here. I don't even know where I was going. See this, guys? This is a farm. It's real tempting to take this wheat and all these carrots, right? Right? You can't do it because guess what? It'd be considered griefing. And more importantly, make these players mad at you. And if they're around and they're mad at you, you're going to have a really bad day because they can bounty on you and they can hunt you down and all sorts of stuff. So, please, for the sake of yourself and others. Oh, come off it, you. Don't grief. Now, griefing is probably the #1 biggest issue in Vox Populi. There's a difference between griefing and taking stuff that is abandoned materials. Oh, that was a trap. Oh, this is a trap. So, abandoned materials is when somebody stops playing and their house is in the wild and there's no more signs or anything on it. What happens in these cases, I'm so going to die when I get off the sponge, is it's fair game. Usually it's been 3 months since the player's been on, and yeah, like I said, fair game, so you can go after that stuff. But know the difference. If you're not sure, don't touch it. It'll be safer for you. Now, the other major issue that the server has is when players try to use modifications, or a better word for it, hacks. This server has a plethora of defenses against certain hacks, like, the X-ray hack. Check this out, this is a dive bomb attack. Anyways, I'm so in trouble. So, the server has defenses against X-ray hacking and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that people can still get them passed. Hacking is an automatically bannable offense. If you hack, you're probably going to get banned. Most likely to be done hacks on Vox are hacks that allow you to fly, or hacks that let you see through ground and stuff like that. It's just not good, and it's not smart. Let's face it, guys. If you're hacking, you're not really playing this game. You're more being lazy. You're the lazy proverbial 12-year-old who doesn't have any friends and can't really do anything. So get over yourself. Stop hacking. Be a real person. Now, let's look at the book here. Exploits. Another big deal in this server. You'll see in single-player worlds, you'll see those animal grinders, those ender farms and stuff like that, where you will literally just have the ability to get product and stuff by automating a system or making it redstoned. Well, here in Vox, it's not too recommended to have a ton of animals or a redstone system because, let's face it, it's a multiplayer server, it's online, and if you have a gazillion pigs getting spawned and then killed because of your redstone system every 5 seconds, you're going to crash the server, people are not going to be happy with you, and worst of all, you're not going to be able to play for a while because staff will have to shut down the server, go through, and kill off the whole system. Now, doesn't mean you'll get in trouble. I don't know. I haven't seen that happen in a while, but just don't do it, guys. Seriously, save us all a little bit of suffering. Exploiting can also happen in other ways in other areas, like it used to be able to happen in the mob arena and in other different places. Now, exploiting doesn't just have to be taking advantage of things the game has. You can exploit PvP. You and your buddy could go, hey, let's get a ton of conquest tokens. Let's go do skirmish. You kill me every time, and you'll get 3 conquest tokens. I'll get 1, but you know what? We'll still get enough to get what we want. That, I believe, is also considered exploiting. Again, not good. Please don't do it. I know this sounds really long and drawn out, me explaining these rules, but these are just a few of the more important ones. I hope by telling you these things that this helps you out a lot. Next video, I promise, will be way more interesting, and instead of going all over the don'ts, I swear we're going to do the do's. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you, and again, feedback is always loved. I'm leaving anyways, dude. Feedback is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a wonderful day.